Hello and good morning, everyone. Good morning to students in the online platform, offline platform. Welcome to today's class. And as you can see, what we were discussing in the last class, I think it's right there in front of me. What we were discussing. Just have a quick recap. We were discussing how to find out force when the energy function is given to you. If the energy function U is given to you, how do you find out the force from that energy function? Up till now, as far as I remember, there is not even a single question that has come straight away in this from this topic, but you never know. It can definitely come. Now, if it is a three-dimensional force, that question will definitely belong to the JE advanced category. It will not come in JE mains at all. So this is beyond the scope of JE mains. So the example that we had discussed in the previous class, particularly this example, wherein we had a energy function of the form x square y plus yz. This question is definitely in the category of JE advanced, and it can never come in JE mains because it's just beyond their reach. But you can see, I mean, even if it's a yes, you're audible, beta. You can hear me also?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But a question of this category, as you can see, which lies in the JE advanced range, is very easy to solve. And I keep on telling you always, and remember that no question in JE advanced has ever come that cannot be solved in the classroom. The only thing is, you will find that the question might be somewhat new in the sense that they are obviously not going to repeat the same question that has already come. So it will be new in that respect. But, and it's important, but if you pay attention in the class and do what is required, you just do the questions that we are doing in the class, you just solve the DPPs. I think you will be in a good space to clear JE mains and fit for JE advanced. Now, in today's class, what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and see what all other questions can come in this particular category. We had seen if you are given force, how to find out work done. If you know work done, negative of that work done will be equal to the change in potential energy. We have done question of that type. Second type of question, you were given the energy function and you were asked to find out the force on that energy function. You find out the partial derivative and you get the force. It is not as a delta or the delta operator. In maths, it is known as a delta operator. Let's forget delta operator. You will not be studying that in maths because that is in higher maths. Probably you will be studying in your engineering colleges. Now, what else can be done? Now, third category of question that can come will be based on something which I call as the potential energy, and this is more likely to come. Probably it can also come in your JE mains. This is the potential energy graph, and these questions are more likely to come in your JE mains as well as in JE advanced. Question based on graphs, because this is one type of question where the examiners find it very interesting, because from one question they can ask you a variety of questions. So potential energy graph is what the next category lies in, and there can be many questions. So please listen to this lecture very carefully. There might not be everything that I say I will be able to write it, but you have to listen to it, remember it, note down as many things as possible. You already have this lecture. It's a very important one, and we should be dealing with this potential energy graph. Now, what is this potential energy graph? This potential energy graph is nothing but a graph drawn between potential energy and the position of the particle. A graph drawn between potential energy and the position of the particle. Now, in most of the cases, if you are given this graph will be for a one-dimensional force or a one-dimensional straight line motion, because to make the graph for a 2D or a 3D motion, it becomes very, very complicated. If you have terms coming from X and Y both together, it becomes a very, very difficult graph. And that is just beyond the scope of the syllabus of your exam. So even if a question comes, it will be in the category where you will be given the energy position graph for a one-dimensional force or a one-dimensional motion. Now, how will this graph look like? I hope you have you have got the hard copy of the sheet that we have here. I mean, do you have the hard copy of the notes with you already? This sheet that you see on your screens now, I've already sent this sheet to be distributed. The written notes, I've already sent it to you. Do you have this with you, the hard copies of the notes? No? Yes? Yes? No? Still have it or you don't have it? This notes, do you have this note? The note that you are seeing, is this you don't have it? Okay, okay. I will find out
Sir, we
why.
didn't get it.
Yes, beta?
No, we didn't get it, sir.
You didn't get it? Okay, there must be something missing there. I will go and check it out. Don't worry, I'll make sure that you get it in a day or two. Okay, so what we are dealing with here is what I call as the potential energy curve. I hope you can all see this potential energy curve. And this potential energy curve is drawn on the right hand side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to enlarge it, and so that you can see it bigger on your screen. And here it comes. Here it's enlarged, and what do you see here? Obviously it's a one-dimensional motion, and in this case this motion is along x-axis. That is why ux is written, energy as a function of x. X is the position along x-axis, so that is plotted along y-axis, the vertical axis, and the position, which is also along x-axis, is plotted on the x-axis. So horizontal axis, you are plotting the position. The x-axis, you are plotting the position. On the y-axis, on the vertical axis, you are definitely plotting the energy function. One-dimensional motion, remember that. Otherwise, it becomes too complicated to do it. Now you can see some points here, and they have drawn a random curve, very typical curve. But just let's not concentrate on the curve. Let us see the important points. As you can see, point A, B, C, and I'll just name this point as E, point D. These are some points that are drawn on this particular curve. I just hope that you have drawn this curve, because we will be discussing a lot on this curve, and today's class will be based basically on this curve, and to understand what are the points and what are the significance of those points, and which point represents what and which region represents what. If you are lucky, even the same question might come in the exam and you will be scoring a handful of marks. So I give you a minute that you draw this diagram, draw this graph between u and x. Mark the points as I have marked on the graph, because that is important. I'll give you a minute to that. I hope you have drawn this graph, this curve or the graph. Now let us try to write the same thing that we already know, but now this is only for a one-dimensional force. So everything is in terms of x or y or z only. So what is this graph? This is a graph which is plotted between the potential energy, as you can see, U, and the displacement. You may not call it displacement, you may just call it the position of the particle. So I've just taken down the displacement and I have written it position of the particle from the center of the force is not required, is called this potential energy graph. This graph shows potential energy for a one-dimensional motion along x. Particle is moving along x. Position is plotted on the horizontal axis, x-axis. Energy is plotted on the vertical axis, y-axis. We know that the negative gradient of the potential energy minus del u by del x, I'm only writing del x because it's a force along x-axis, will give you the force vector. It's not written vector here because it's again a one-dimensional motion, so we'll just get the force. So I'm not writing I, j, k, del u by del x, I, del u by del y, j. This is a one-dimensional force. So del minus del u by del x, that will give you the force of the force acting on the particle. Remember this negative sign. This negative sign holds a lot of importance here. So basically, draw this graph, write it's a one-dimensional force minus del u by del x, partial derivative of u with respect to x, will give you the force acting on the particle, negative gradient of the potential energy. Note this down. I'll give you a minute. I hope you are writing. I'll give you a minute more. I see everyone writing. So basically what you got to do is just draw the graph and write minus del u by del x is the force. Negative gradient of the potential energy curve or graph gives you the force acting on the particle. This is what you need to note down. As simple as that. Nothing else. I hope you have written it. Can I have some raise hand that we have written it so that I can move forward? Okay, boys on the left, girls on the right. Everyone has done that. So we move forward and we come to the next screen. And the next screen or the next sheet that you see tells you to write the heading nature of the force. Now, how can we understand the nature of this force? Now, this is basically maths. It has got nothing to do with physics. As I said, always, mathematics is the language of physics. Without maths, physics has no meaning at all. So it's all about maths that we are going to understand here and how maths and physics come together. Now, whatever force you are dealing with, it could be an attractive force, it could be a repulsive force. You could either attract particles, bring them together, or it could repel the particles from each other, or there could not be any force. So whether there is a force or not, if there is a force, it could be attractive, it could be repulsive. We all know that gravitational force is attractive, that you must remember. But on the other hand, electrostatic force, or for that matter, spring force, they can attract as well as repel. Attract means pulling back, repelling means pushing back. That is how you can understand attraction and repulsion in terms of spring. So spring can pull as well as push. So its pull becomes attraction and its push becomes repulsion. For gravitation, we only have attraction, we don't have repulsion. For electrostatic force, we have attraction. Unlike charges attract each other, like charges repel each other. Doesn't matter. We are talking about conservative forces. Three forces we have to deal with. It could be attractive, it could be repulsive. There could not be any force. How do you find it out? That is the question. The first heading here is attractive force. When is the force attractive? Now I'll give you a minute and I will just underline something, and I would ask you to understand what is being underlined. I'll give you a minute. Oops, I'm not able to draw a straight line. See, even drawing a straight line is a big problem here. I'm not able to draw a straight line. Things that look very simple are the ones which are very difficult. That proves it. Now I'm able to draw a straight line. Congratulations. And that's the straight line. Okay. So I've underlined something. I'll give you a minute to read it. And if anyone understands what it means, please raise your hands and tell me what it means. If you can understand it on your own, well, congratulations. You have done a very big job. And that is how you get your brains working. If everything I have to tell you, well, I will tell you, obviously. But if you can understand it on your own without me telling you, that would be an added advantage that will help you in developing your minds. I'll give you a minute. Read the lines which I've underlined. You also need to write it. So you can also write it at the same time. Read it, write it, and tell me if you understand it. If anyone understands it, please raise your hands. I could not understand it when I was of your age. And my rank in IIT was 1826. So if you can understand this, you are better than me. Hanak has given me an answer, and he's writing when displacement increases. If potential energy increases, then derivative. You are just writing what is written in the. You are just. You are just repeating what is written in the sheet beta. I don't think that you understand what you are writing. See, what is written in the sheet is maths. You have to convert that maths into talkable language that you can talk. You can convert it into talkable language. Maths has already spoken. You have to understand what it has spoken, and then you have to make me understand what it means. Maths has already spoken. Maths is telling you this. If you understand this, let me know that you understand this. Anyone else? Hanak, you have attempted correctly. A nice attempt, but you are only repeating what the maths has said. I don't understand maths. You have to tell me in my language, the language that I understand. English, Hindi. Anyone? Anyone can say anything else? I think you have the answer that Hanak has given us. That's on the chat. I don't think the chat will be activated there. And that's right right there on my screen. Anyone else would like to do? Would like to comment? Okay, let me do it. When do we find the force attractive? When will the force be attractive? No. Since we don't have any idea about, we have idea about gravitational energy. Now let me try to make some sense over here. We'll try to I can make you understand attractive force. If I'm able to make you understand attractive force, you should be able to do the ulta of it, and you should be able to understand the repulsive nature of the force. Okay, so I'll try to make you understand. How will I try to make you understand? Simple example. This is a pen here. This is ground here. Now, if I talk about potential energy, which point has higher potential energy? Ground or here? Which point has higher potential energy? Does the ground have higher potential energy, or does this point where this pen is has higher potential energy? Which point has a higher potential energy? Tell me. Which point has a higher potential energy? This point has higher potential energy, right? Where my
Yes,
pen is.
sir.
The bottommost point is M0 reference level. Then this is MGH. Now, when I drop this, what happens? It goes towards the ground, right? Yes or no?
Sir.
That means it is moving from a point of. That means it is moving from a point of. It is moving from a point of. Point of where? Point of higher potential energy to a point of.
Lower potential energy.
You know this already. Everything only moves from higher to lower. Heat always flows from higher temperature to lower temperature on its own. It cannot flow from lower to higher on its own. That's refrigeration. I have to do some work to make it flow from lower to higher. But from higher to lower, it always flows on its own. Yes or no? Do you understand this? Everything always moves from a point of higher energy to a point of lower energy on its own. Okay. So this pen is moving from a point of higher energy to a point of lower energy. Now take it in the other way. And this is attractive force. Do we understand this is attractive? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That's we have understood this now. Now we understand what is written here. That means if I go from here to here, if I go from here to here, what is happening with potential energy? What is happening with potential energy when I go from ground?
Increasing, sir.
It
Increasing.
it increases. Voila. So we have understood the first line. On increasing x, if u increases, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
On increasing x distance, u increases. Now, if on increasing x, u increases and u is a function of x, that means the derivative du by dx, slope is positive, its derivative is positive. Yes or no? If you increase x, u is increasing. That means the slope is positive. Yes or no? Remember that slope,
Yes, sir.
differentiation slope, positive slope, negative slope. Slope is positive. So slope of this thing is du by dx. So that du by dx, which is the slope of this gentleman, that is positive. Slope is positive. That means f is negative because f is negative of that slope. And the force is attractive. We have understood attractive force. When is the force attractive? If one moving, when x increases, if energy increases, force is attractive. As simple as that. Do we understand this, or this has gone above our heads? That is how maths and physics come into the picture. If on increasing x, energy increases. That is how you have to make it understand. Hanak has tried his best, but he was just repeating what the sheet was saying. On increasing x, if energy increases, that means the slope is positive. That means the negative of that slope is negative, and negative of that slope is force. So force is negative. That means it is attractive in nature, done and dusted. Do we understand this? Can I have some reason that we understand this? Everyone, left boys, right girls, back benches. Okay, so we have understood this. I hope you have written this as well. Now what we are going to do is see on the graph where this portion lies. See on the graph where this portion lies. And the graph comes straight away here. Can you tell me in which portion of the graph is the force attractive in nature? The graph is in front of you. It's also on your notebooks by now. Can you tell me in what region is the force attractive? I will mark it with red. So you tell me, anyone, in which region is the force attractive? And how do you find it out? Wherever the slope is positive, force is negative and force is attractive. Which region do you find force attractive? Yes, waiting for your answers.
BC, sir.
BC. Okay, I give you that. BC. Is there any other region apart from BC? Open your eyes, it's right in front of your eyes. Where the slope is positive, force is negative, and force is attractive. BC is correct. Do you find any other reason? BC and his brothers from another mother, DE. In these two regions, if X is increasing, as you can see, X is increasing, U is also increasing, whether you look at the portion BC or you look at the portion ED. In both the cases, on increasing X, U is increasing, and hence we can conclude that the force has to be attractive in these two regions, in the region from B to C, in the region from E to D. Can I have some raise hand that we understand this? Potential energy graph. Well done. Now, if you have understood this, and I hope you have marked this region on the graph, that will take us to the second type of force, which would be definitely repulsive. And then again, I'm going to mark something here. I'm going to mark and see if you understand this. Repulsive force. When will the force be repulsive? I'll just underline it again. I'll just underline it again. And now again, I will ask you to read it and tell me if it makes sense. If anyone understands what is written here. If you have understood attractive force, repulsive force is self-explanatory. Still, I'll give you a minute. Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of whatever I have underlined? Repulsive force. When is the force repulsive? I will give you a minute to think and write first. Then we will start to make sense of that. 1 minute. Well, I hope you have noted down what was supposed to be noted down. Can anyone tell me what it means? Does anyone understands what it means? Would anyone like to say anything about it? Anyone of you? Yes, beta. Beta, it's hard to hear you. Can you just speak loudly? Or is there something wrong with my headphones? No, my.
Increasing x, u is decreasing, so slope is negative.
So basically, what is happening is when I'm increasing the distance, potential energy is decreasing, right? And in that case, what happens? It is the ulta of attraction, and hence, what will happen?
Slope becomes negative.
The derivative is negative. Energy ka derivative is negative. Therefore, force becomes positive, and if the force becomes positive, it becomes repulsive in nature. That is exactly opposite of the attractive force. Now it's difficult for me to make you understand the repulsive force because you have not seen repulsive force into action. So probably when you get into the standard 12th, when you get into electric charges, I'll again try to make sense of this repulsive force. So when two charges are, I'll just explain it like this. So when two charges are like, mark my words, when two charges are like, so what happens if two charges here, positive charge and positive charge? You understand charges, positive charge and positive charge. If you put two positive charges like this in space, these positive charges have energy. This system has an energy. This system of two charges has an energy. Now, when I increase the distance of these two charges, when I increase the distance between the two charges, the energy decreases. The energy decreases. The energy decreases. So basically, they are moving from a point of higher energy to a point of lower energy. And everything will always move from a point of higher energy to a point of lower energy, higher energy to a point of lower energy, and hence they will keep on moving apart. Since they keep on moving apart, the force becomes repulsive, and that is the best explanation that I can give you right now at this point in time. So whenever you increase x, potential energy decreases, force becomes repulsive in nature. I think that is much more explanation that is required. Since you have understood attractive force, you can just do the reverse of that and you will get into repulsive force, and I will mark this force by this legendary green color. Now tell me in which region of this graph, which you don't see right now but you will see it now, I just forgot it. Okay, now you tell me in which region. Yes, Hanak is trying to make some point. Hanak, you are correct now. Well done.
B and C.
Now it's a cakewalk. A, B, and
CE.
A, B, and C, E. These are the two regions where when you increase X, energy decreases, and hence you will have repulsive forces coming into the picture. So the region from A to B or the region from C to E is the region of repulsive forces. So see how smart or intelligent you have become. You are just looking at a graph and telling me, okay, force is repulsive here, force is attractive here, force is repulsive there, force is attractive there. Simple. Every day you learn something new. This is not something new. This you have learned in the last class. Now are you looking at the application of this thing? And that is what that makes JEE fascinating. Not JEE main, but JEE advanced. Yes, that's what makes JEE advanced fascinating, because you have to apply what you have learned. And this is how you apply what you have learned. Force can be attractive, force can be repulsive. Two cases we have seen, and I hope we have understood. Can I have some raise hand that we have understood this? Anyone has any doubt? I'll pause for a second or a minute so that you can ask your doubt in this particular case. Anyone has any doubt, please come up. If not, I will move ahead. No one seems interested in a doubt. I will move ahead then. If the force is not attractive, if the force is not repulsive, what could that be? Well, simply it could be that there is no force. If there is no force, it can't be attractive or repulsive. Zero force. When will the force be zero? When will the force be zero? Now, again, I will mark, underline, and then I'll ask you to read it and write it as well. 1 minute, and tell me if you understand anything from this statement. If you can understand this, well, the entire chapter is absolutely getting crystal clear in your head, and you must congratulate yourself. These are not easy stuff that I'm telling you here. Not many students in the entire country would be knowing this. I can assure you that. Those who are sitting in Kota or any other fancy place, they might not be knowing this. A minute to win it. I hope everyone has noted it down. Can anyone explain what is written here? Can anyone explain what is written here? No one? Okay, then I'll do that. It basically tells us that if you change the value of x, you change the value of x, nothing happens. U does not change. I go up, I'll go down, U does not change. U does not change, that means the derivative of U with respect to x is 0. Now this derivative is equal to force. That means force is 0. That means no net force works on the particle. F net is 0. The net force acting on the particle is 0. And the particle is said to be in equilibrium. Remember Newton's first law. Particle in equilibrium. When is a particle in equilibrium? If there is no force acting on the particle, it will continue its state of rest or continue its state of motion. A particle at rest will remain at rest. If it is moving along a straight line, the uniform velocity, it will keep on moving on the same line with the same velocity. Nothing happens. Force is 0. Body is in equilibrium. So when du by dx is 0, the body is in equilibrium, and those points are known as points or positions of equilibrium. Am I clear with this? Can I have some reason that you understand this? Points and positions of equilibrium. Boys on the left, are we there with the class? We understand the points of equilibrium? Okay, well done. Now the time that we recognize these points on our graph so that they start to look more clear in our heads. Seeing is believing? No. Can you tell me? I'll mark those points by this legendary color. Which one? Which one? Let me choose yellow. You'll be able to see yellow? No, yellow is not visible. Okay, so I'll use this pink. I love pink. Pink. Okay. Which are the points that you see are the points of equilibrium? Can you tell me? Anyone? I hope everyone sees it, right? Yes, Hanak, you are
B,
correct.
C, D.
B
C,
marked. Well done. C
D, and D.
and D. B, C, and D goes the answer. I think you have read it from the sheet.
E also, sir.
Yes, one more missing. E also, sir. That is the fourth point. B, C, D, and E. The slope is zero. The graph just turns. The slope is zero. B, C, D, and E are the 4 points of equilibrium. So now looking at the graph and you see that, oh, these are the points of equilibrium. B, C, D, and E. B, C, D, and E are the points of equilibrium where force acting on the particle is zero. And now you can clearly understand them. Looking at the graph, you can tell me those points. Now, I'll just ask you a question which about a topic which we are just going to do now. Do you find any difference between the 4 points? Do some point look similar and the other point look similar in one way or the other way? There are 4 points. Remember, there are 4 points. Do you find any similarity or difference between the 4 points? Yes, beta.
Position, sir.
Position.
Position of points.
What do you mean by position of the points? Yes, you are right. What do you mean by position of the points? 2 points are
Have higher potential energy and the
well done. 2 points are at a higher potential energy level. Can you mark those points which are at a higher potential energy level?
C and D, sir.
C and D. Correct. C and D are the points which are on the higher side, higher potential energy. Remember that. Higher potential energy. Higher potential energy. What about the other two?
B, E, and E are lower potential energy. Having lower
B
potential.
and E are lower potential energy. So C and D are on higher potential energy levels. So we can understand that. Think about it. Somehow C and C and D would be similar. C and D would be similar because they are on the higher level. On the same hand, on the same way we can see, in the same way we can see B and E are on the lower potential energy side. That means somehow B and E would be similar. Do we all understand this? Can I have some reason that we understand this?
Yes, sir.
Pakka? Chalo. That is what you needed to understand because the next heading that is coming your way deals with this specific problem, and the next heading is coming right here, right now on your screens, and it is this types of equilibrium. Oops, my screen went away. Okay, back. Types of equilibrium. So I've used pink color, so I'll use pink. What is equilibrium? If the net force acting on a particle is zero, it is said to be in equilibrium. We all know it from the previous chapter, Newton laws of motion. For equilibrium, du by dx is zero. We now know it. Force is the negative derivative of u. But the equilibrium of particle can be of three types. The equilibrium of the particle can be of 3 types. And you have to draw the entire table. So you can draw 3 columns like this, make some rows, and you'll have to write and understand at the same time. So what are the 3 types of equilibrium? So I'll give you time to draw this graph, draw this column and rows, and it's a big table. So first type of equilibrium is known as stable equilibrium. The second type of equilibrium is known as unstable equilibrium. And the third type of equilibrium is known as neutral equilibrium. I'll give you a minute to draw this table. I'll also show you how big the table is. So you have an idea of how many rows and columns you have to draw. You have to definitely draw 3 columns. And you can see, I'm just scrolling down. You have to draw these many of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I count 5 or 6. 6 rows are there. So you have to draw 6 rows and you have to draw 3 columns, and you have to space them like this. Just do it on a fresh paper. You should be able to do it. So draw it. I'll give you a minute for you to draw it. Have you drawn the table, everyone? Okay. Have you drawn a table? You don't have to write it. You just draw the table, and when you write, you can then draw the rows. Just write the heading stable and stable neutral, and then when I explain, then you can write everything. Okay. Let's start. Let us start with the first thing. Probably we'll have to draw the table in the next class. Maybe we'll not have the time to draw it here because only 5-10 minutes are left. It will take some more time. So what I'll do is this is already there with you. I will again share this page on your group. Even if I share it, you will not be able to see it because you don't have mobile phones, right? We'll ask the mm, office people to give you the sheets for this.
Sir, share it, sir.
Done, beta?
Share it from the Telegram, sir.
Yes, yes, I'll send it on the Telegram. I'll send the sheet on the Telegram so you can write it. You can draw this table and write it in your notes before coming to class tomorrow, next class, so that I can save some time on your writing. Okay. Now, how do I understand the three equilibrium? I hope you've written stable, first column, unstable, second column, and the third column, the extreme right or left, whatever it is, would be your neutral. Now, how do we understand this? Now, the best way to understand this is by going on to the last row, and that last row consists of this example. And I've always understood better from an example. Yes, beta?
Scroll down, sir. Scroll down, sir. Scroll down.
Yes, I think you see that last example, right? What you see on your screen are
Definition, sir.
yes, beta?
The definition, sir.
No, you don't have to write. You just have to write what I am telling you. Don't worry about that. I'll give you time to write the definition. Okay, so you have stable, unstable, and neutral. Now look at this. Look at this ball, the pink one. Now this ball is at the bottom of a bowl. It could be a bowl, it could be a sphere, it could be anything. Now, if I push this ball upwards here, what happens to this ball? It goes higher up. It goes higher up. Now, if it goes higher up, it will automatically try to come back to its lower position. Yes or no? If I try to push this ball or marble up, it is down the hill, it will go up the hill, but it will always try to come back. Yes or no? Do we understand this? If I push this ball, it will always try to come back to its original position. If I push it this side also, if I push it this side also, again it is moving up. It is moving up. It will try to come back down. That means it will try to come back here. Do we all understand what is happening with the pink ball? Do we understand what is happening with the pink ball? The pink ball is on the lowermost position. The pink ball is on the lowermost position. If I push it, it will come back. Push it, come back. Push it, comes back. Push it, comes back. Do we understand this? This type of equilibrium is known as stable equilibrium. And what you have to look for on a stable equilibrium? Stable equilibrium happens at the lowermost point. The energy is lowest. Think about potential energy. It is lowest here. It is lowest at the bottom. If I push it, potential energy increases and therefore it wants to come back. So what is associated with stable equilibrium? Lowest energy, lowest energy, lowest energy. Do we all understand this? Lowest energy. If you understand this, now we go back. Now we go back here. Now tell me, which points are points of stable equilibrium? Which points?
And E, sir.
B and E, the pink points, are definitely points of stable equilibrium. Energy is lowest. See, bottom of the hill. Bottom of the hill. Energy is lowest. If I push it upwards, it will always try to come back. It will always try to come back. It will always try to come back. This is known as stable equilibrium. B and E definitely represent stable equilibrium. This is what you have to note down in your original diagram. Every information that we are collecting are coming from the same graph, from the same one diagram. So if you're looking at that diagram from any perspective, you should be getting your answers. B and E are definitely points of stable equilibrium. Now let us change. Let us bring our attention to this green ball. Now I have a green ball. Now as you can see, green ball is on the top of the hill. It's on the top of the hill, sitting on the top of the hill. If you don't touch it, it just remains there. It will not do anything. Don't touch it, nothing happens. Touch me not. But if I just touch it and move it on this side, it's on the top. It will never come back. It will just go down. It will just keep on going down. It will never come back. There's no tendency of it to come back. If I push it on this side, again, it is just going downhill. Bye-bye. Gone. It doesn't come back. It's on a point of higher energy. It will never come back to that point. It will always move to the lower point. This green ball represents unstable equilibrium. Do we understand this? Unstable equilibrium. So that is the first thing that you are going to draw. All right. We'll write it in the next class. I'll send you the sheet on your Telegram group. From that, note down this entire sheet. Note down this entire column. I'll send it to you. Do you understand this unstable equilibrium? Higher energy level, unstable equilibrium. Higher energy level, unstable equilibrium. Higher energy level, unstable equilibrium. We go back to our original graphs. We are doing a thorough examination of this graph. And now we know a lot of things about this graph. Simple question. Which are the points of the green points? Which are the green points? Points
sir.
of unstable equilibrium. And before answering, before even asking the question, I have the answer. These are the points of unstable equilibrium. Higher energy levels, top of the hill. Green ball is on the top of the hill. As long as it remains on top, nothing happens. If you push it down, it just goes down. It will not come back. The next question is, where will it try to come back? Towards which point it is going to move? If it's on the top of the hill, high energy, if I push it, towards which point is this going to move? You can see that
E, sir.
it will go either to B or to E. That means it will always move to a point of stable equilibrium. So every body in this entire universe always wants to come to stable equilibrium. Everyone wants stability in life. Why are you here? You want to crack JE. Why you want to crack JE? You want to crack JE because you want to have a good life. Why you want to have a good life? Because if you have a good life, you will have a stability in life. Stability is what everyone is looking for. But stability comes with lower energy. If you want stability in life, keep your energy levels down. By energy level, I mean the amount of money that you earn. You have to come down to some certain level where you find optimum level. Okay, this is the amount of money that I want to earn. This makes my life stable. I am at this energy level. I don't want to go higher. If I go any higher, if I increase my potential energy, well, you will have trouble coming in your life. That is philosophy. I'm not a philosopher, so I'll just concentrate on physics, which I think is a lot better than philosophy, for me at least. So now I will just bring your attention to the third type of equilibrium, and it is straightforward. I will draw it with this legendary color blue, light color blue. Now look at this on a flat surface. This marble, this ball is on a flat surface. If I move towards right, it just stays there. If I move it towards left, it doesn't go down, it doesn't go up, it's on the same level. Energy does not change. The pink ball is moving to higher energy, so it is coming back. Oh, I want to come back. I don't want higher energy. The green ball is on a higher energy, it goes down, lower energy, lower energy, lower energy. But this blue ball, which is my favorite ball, just stays there. So this is the type of equilibrium that I want everyone you to be in. Neutral equilibrium. Just stay where you are. If you have reached some pinnacle of success, stay, hold it down. Now, what happens with most of the people? They are always in the green ball. They are always the green ball. They are always sitting on the highest point. If you're on the highest point, the only way you can go is down. There is no way to go up because you are at the highest energy level. You have to go down. That is physics. That is law of the nature. What I want you guys is to be in the blue zone. Make a flat surface for yourself that you don't fall. How do you make this flat surface? Have enough friends in your life. Make relations. You'll always remain on top. Neutral, equilibrium, mixing physics with a bit of philosophy helps sometimes, and that is how we are ending this class today. What we have understood today is to find out whether a force is attractive, whether a force is repulsive, or whether the force is zero. We know if by increasing x, u increases, du by dx is positive, force is negative, force is attractive. If by increasing x, u decreases, du by dx is negative, force is positive, force is repulsive. If du by dx is zero, equilibrium, three types of equilibrium. Pink one, stable equilibrium. You have minimum energy, you will stay there, you will stay stable. If you have no money, you will stay stable at that point. Nothing will change it. You will just stay there. Green ball, which everyone wants to aspire to be on the top of the pile. But if you're on the top of the pile, the only way you can go is go down. Unstable equilibrium, I don't want you to be there. The third one is the best one, the neutral one. You stay on top, you reach the top, you stay on top, create a flat surface, always stay there forever. That ends today's class. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. If you have anything that you want to ask, please let me know.
Very much enjoyed, sir.
Great. I always try to do something new. So what I'm going to do is share this sheet with you on your Telegram group. Make the entire table on your own, because if you make it, we will save a lot of time in the class that can be utilized for something else. So bye for now, and take care, study, and do the job. I'm just going to send it right now in 2 minutes. That sheet will be there on your Telegram group. Have a look at that sheet and use it. Take care. Have a good day, and stay healthy. Beta, the climate is changing very fast. I mean, it's already 3 or 4 degrees here at my place. I hope I don't see you with sweaters and all that. That means it's not so cold there. It's very cold over here. So stay healthy and take care. I'm here. If you want anything, you can ask. Else, the class is dismissed. Stay happy.
Bye, sir.